including a Week 8 victory right here in Regina. The Riders getting back in the win column last week and kicking off his stretch tonight. 4 straight games against the best in the West.
Kit Canada is putting on a show this summer in the Canadian Football League. 24-year-old Nathan Rourke, the Canadian, born in Victoria, grew up in Oakville, just coming off a come-from-behind win against the Calgary Stampeders, where he threw for a season-high 488 passing yards. How do you stop Nathan Rourke, the hottest quarterback in the CFL? Well, the Riders hope that the addition of Pete Robertson back in the lineup will help. Still tied for the league lead with 7 sacks after missing 4 games.
Calgary thought they might have figured Rourke out early last week, but he had a few more tricks up his sleeve in the second half of that game as BC came back to make it 4 wins in a row. They look to make it 5 tonight at Mosaic, where the Riders have lost their last 2 at the second half of a Friday night football doubleheader. Thank you very much for joining us, and we're about to get underway in the first of a home-and-home, a huge home-and-home between the BC Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Vedvik set to get things going, and we are underway at a jam-packed Mosaic. This will be taken at the 10 and brought back out towards the 30 and stopped there. First return for Shane Wynn joining this BC Lions group, and there he is, Nathan Rourke. Another big test tonight.
On pace for over 6,500 passing yards, which is pushing record-breaking pace for Nathan Rourke, completing 80% of his passes, a 7-1 record. Again, come from behind win against Calgary last week, where he threw for 488.
1,300 yards passing in his last 3 games for Rourke. A healthy Riders defense, the challenge tonight. They'll get it to Lucky Whitehead, made one man miss, pushes it ahead, close to the 34-yard line. Let's take a look at this BC Lions offense, brought to you by Expedia.
Well, up front, every one of those guys have played every game. That really helps with an offensive line. But Suk Chung is in game 100 of his CFL career, so congratulations to him. They get James Butler back. He did not play against the Calgary Stampeders last week. Butler, their leading tailback.
Bruce Anderson played last week, 9 carries, 37 yards. Butler, one of the best in the league so far this season. 4 receivers to the wide side, left for Rourke, looks to the right, throws to the right, and he's got a first down to the right as well as they'll push it up towards the 50, and that is Keon Hatcher getting involved in the offense early.
Yeah, it's kind of pick your poison with this receiving core. It's arguably the best in the league, and Keon Hatcher, back when they played Saskatchewan, was their leader. Over 100 yards for him in that game. 14-yard gain early on in this matchup.
It was 110 yards in week 8 for Hatcher. 2 100-yard games on the season for number 4 in white tonight. Rourke throwing again, in trouble, gets it away, and it will fall incomplete. They did get some pressure busting through that offensive line, and they'll need a lot of this tonight against Rourke.
Well, they get Pete Robertson and A.C. Leonard back in the lineup. That's combined 10 sacks between the 2 of them. Pete Robertson was leading the league, still is tied for the league lead after missing 4 games. Larry Dean and Darnell Sankey on pace for 100 tackles each. Only Adam Bighill and Solomon Elamimian have done that in the CFL. And Roland Milligan got his first interception last week versus Edmonton.
27-year-old, been a nice fit on this defense. 36 tackles on the season as well. 2nd and 10 here for Rourke.
Whoa.
And multiple BC Lions looked like they were moving early there.
Yeah, chalk one up for the crowd. And the crowd will be important here. Try and somehow take Nathan Rourke and bump him off the track he's on, because
procedure BC number 86, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Javon Katoy, the guilty party.
Back in the lineup, Garrett Marino. He didn't get into the starting lineup, but will rotate in and will play all game, and that's already borderline right there. Off a 4-game suspension.
Sometimes you don't learn a lesson. 2nd and 15. Rourke with this crowd all over him. Steps back, has time, has Rhymes, and they got a first down, takes it inside the 50. And Rhymes is having a huge season, also getting involved early in this game.
Yeah, huge season is an understatement. 3 receivers for the BC Lions, including Dominic Rhymes, are on pace for over 1,300 yards. That has never happened in the Canadian Football League.
3 of their guys are top 10 right now. Burnham has actually got the 5th best average per game in the league at 78.3 yards. So 4 guys having just remarkable seasons. Rourke now is going to look down the field to Burnham. He's got him at the 10, trips and stumbles. But a huge pickup in the first catch of the game for Burnham. Goes big for 38.
I'm going to put Brian Burnham in that 3rd receiver spot to the short side of the field, and he runs the corner route right beside Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead pulls the coverage up. Now that leaves a one-on-one with Derek Moncrief trying to catch up on Brian Burnham. He separates, and ball drops right to him. He just trips him up, or he goes in and scores.
Nathan Rourke has started this game 4 of 5 for 79 yards. Has his team inside the 10. Just over 75% in the red zone so far this year. Rourke's going to be throwing again. Looking towards the end zone for Rhymes, falling, and he almost had it, but there's a flag on the play. As he was going down, looked like he might have a chance to haul that one in. Jeremy Clark in coverage, getting the flag.
Pass interference, Saskatchewan number 37. Foul occurred in the end zone. The ball was placed on the 1-yard line. Automatic, first down.
Take a look at the coverage. Yeah, I mean, there was some hand fighting going on between both Rhymes and Jeremy Clark here, but the fact there was another push as he was going down and they tangled up.
Pipkin into the game and takes it in for the touchdown, and the BC Lions go on top early. A very successful drive to start this game. 7 plays, 81 yards, finished off by Antonio Pipkin.
Well, for BC Lions fans that have been watching all season long, Nathan Rourke usually stays in short yardage.
I had a double take. I had to look at it twice. I was like, that's not Rourke.
But I like this idea. Antonio Pipkin comes in. He's a strong 6'3", 225-pound quarterback that can follow that offensive line in short yardage.
He's done this before.
And it takes away a few hits on Nathan Rourke.
Rourke with 7 rushing touchdowns on the season, a few of them just like the one that Pipkin just put in. Sean White out for the extra point. And the BC Lions 7-0 lead. This was a big chunk on this drive. Burnham for 38 to set up a major, and the Lions lead 7-0.
Right out of the gate, they go 7 plays, 81 yards, the biggest to Brian Burnham to set up this pass interference by Jeremy Clark that led to a 1-yard Antonio Pipkin touchdown, and the Lions up 7-0.
A catch for Burnham, a catch for Rhymes, a catch for Hatcher, and a catch for Lucky Whitehead. That's how you get your offense involved early if you're that man. Nathan Rourke.
Maybe 2Z.
Back to the tablet, getting ready for another possession. Riders going to get a crack at it. Here goes Alford, just inside the 10. He'll take it patiently back to the 20. Stays on his feet, trying to get to the outside, down the field. And eventually they'll track him down. He goes from one side of the field all the way to the other on a short return, which sets up things for Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, good comeback win last week against Edmonton for Cody Fajardo. Big 4th quarter, got his legs going again. 51 yards rushing. That's his highest total of the season, but sort of normal for him when he's healthy. Felt like the leg was way better last week against the Elks.
They will start on their own 19. And they'll hand it off, and a good push right up the middle here in the first touch of the day for Jamal Morrow, who comes into this game 2nd in the league in rushing yards. He picks up 9 more here.
Yeah, 13 for 46, but, you know, I'm going to count tonight those little swing passes that Jamal Morrow takes, too. He's caught 30 passes this season at this point in the campaign, and I think Morrow, those extended runs are as important for the balance in this offense.
Butler also 30 catches on the year for the BC Lions, so both of these guys getting involved in the passing game. 2nd and 1. Back to Morrow again, pushing it ahead, and he's got a big hole and a big pickup again. Takes it just outside the 40, and what a start for number 25. 13 more yards here.
A big block off the right side of the offensive line. Some changes up front. We'll get to that in a second, but they've made some changes at tackle, wanting to get the run game going and the protection for Cody Fajardo. Look at the size of that hole for Jamal Morrow. Into the secondary, tackled by Marcus Sales.
All the way up to the Rider 41. Fajardo out into the flats. Tevin Jones struck down by TJ Lee, but a decent little pickup on 1st down. Here's a look at this Riders offense.
Yeah, they changed both tackles. Taron Vaughn out, not playing tonight. Natai Rogers released by the team, so Jamal Campbell takes over for Rogers. Lauderdale takes over for Taron Vaughn. And Duke Williams, with a big touchdown late in that game last week against Edmonton, has created a nacho special here at Mosaic Stadium. More on that later on.
Looks like Duke is down right now after this play. He was blocking on the pass out to Tevin Jones. It ended up going for just 3 yards. And now he's being tended to by the Riders training staff. We'll bring you up to speed when we return. Williams is up and appears to be okay, so Rider Nation can exhale for now. Here's a second look.
Yeah, he's trying to walk off what looks like a knee to the hip from TJ Lee. It wasn't a shot by Lee on purpose. He got blocked into him, and that knee right in the hip area. He's walking that off.
2nd and 7 is where we sit. Just inside the Rider 45. Fajardo looks to his left. Now comes over the middle. Completion is made. It'll be short of a 1st down as he gets Wesley Lewis involved in the ball game, but they're going to be 2 yards shy of what they needed after a 5-yard pickup for Lewis.
I was going to say, it looked like he was getting close to that 50-yard line mark. That would have made it an interesting decision for Craig Dickinson, but when he got pushed back and then tackled again, that was it. Now it's 3rd and 2, and you got to kick it away.
Shane Wynn back to return it. 29-year-old drawing into the lineup for the Lions tonight. Vedvik's kick comes down just outside the 20. Wynn stays on his feet, pushes it ahead, just shy of the 30 on the return for the BC Lions. If they can get a dynamic return game going, look out, because the offense usually takes care of business no matter where they start from, and if Wynn can put him in some good spots and make things easier for that man, Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, and the defense is playing quite well also in BC, and it's probably not talked about very much because of the play of Nathan Rourke in this offense. It's netted over 1,000 yards in the last 2 games. But the BC defense leads the league in stopping the run and pass, yardage-wise. They're starting to come on and make headlines of their own.
Yeah, they allowed just over 21 points per game, and that's including the big 40 from the Stampeders last week. Rourke this time starts on his own 29. He's going to look down the field for Rhymes early, and it'll fall incomplete. Jeremy Clark in coverage again against number 19.
Well, that was a good decision by the official down there not to call pass interference. It was close. There was a push by Clark, but the ball was not catchable. And something you don't see often or haven't this year from Nathan Rourke is an overthrow like that. But Jeremy Clark's got to be careful. Don't put it in the hands of the officials to make that decision on the fly.
Rhymes couldn't get to that one. He had 101 yards and a touchdown last week. Caught 7 of the 10 targets that were thrown his way. 2nd and 10 for Rourke. 3 receivers to the right. Looks that way. Throws that way. And it's intercepted on the far side of the field. Larry Dean. Looked like it was deflected. Came right to Dean. And a huge turnover here for the Riders defense. Nathan Rourke. Couple of interceptions last week. This one bouncing into the hands of Larry Dean. And the Riders, just like that, are in business in Regina as they have some fun with Duke Williams, obviously getting a fine this week for his celebration last weekend, and they never got any up to the booth, but the crowd loved him out there tonight.
Well, it's nacho night because of it, and you know there was all kinds of discussion on the fine. We'll get to that in a second, but yeah, Duke Williams after his touchdown in Edmonton right into the crowd, which were Rider fans in that end zone.
After an interception by Dean, his second of the year, Fajardo dumps this off to Morrow. Here's a flashback to Duke Williams after that touchdown last week, a huge touchdown late in the game.
Yeah, late in the game, and the comeback complete after this one. Duke Williams catches this and then immediately heads into the end zone. Now, there was a bunch of Rider fans in there. I'm not sure if that mattered to him, but he goes in there and grabs the nachos, went back after the game and signed some autographs for that group.
Fajardo down the field looking for Duke here, and that one will be picked off. Sliding underneath it is Marcus Sales, and it's his first interception of the season.
Well, you heard Davis Sanchez before the game talking on the panel about wanting to see Cody Fajardo lead his receivers down the field. Well, he does that here. Duke Williams running that corner route, ball way out in front of him, and Williams can't get to it before Sales does. That's good catch at the warning track type of interception.
Right over the shoulder, dropped in a bucket, and the 9th career interception for Marcus Sales. Second year with that BC defense. Now on the 25 for Rourke with a 7-0 lead midway through the first quarter at Mosaic. Quick hitter. And that will be completed to Brian Burnham, his second catch of the game.
Yeah, it looked a little awkward for Duke Williams at the end of that play. Let's watch him again on this corner route from that 3 spot again. And it looks like he gets caught up and tied up there, a little trip, and then has to try to regroup on the corner route. He flattened it out a little too much because of that contact down the field and couldn't get there. Marcus Sales does.
2nd and 4 for Rourke. Has some time this time and has a man downfield. It's Rhymes. He'll take it out to almost the 50-yard line. And once again, Rhymes comes up big on 2nd down for Rourke.
Well, let's watch the composure. He has just thrown an interception. Comes back next series, not phased, has a nice throwing lane, and that might be one of the goals for the Saskatchewan defense. Hands up in the front 7. If you can't get there, get your hands up.
104 yards already for Rourke. This time they'll hand it off, and a nice push ahead for James Butler on his first carry of the football game. This will go for 7.
He's already at 100 yards and a pace for well over 400 again tonight. And we're just getting started here.
Just over 10 minutes into this ball game. Rourke barking out instructions for a 2nd and 3 play at midfield. Right towards that first down marker. Burnham will hang on for his 3rd catch of the game, and that will be enough for a BC Lions first down.
You know, Nathan Rourke, he processes the defense so quickly. It looks like Milligan down there needs a little extra attention, but he processes so quickly and has that quick release to his receivers that you're not always going to get pressure. That D-line, if they get their hands up, can try and block some passing lanes. Robertson and AC Leonard. So get up the field in your lane as a pass rusher and get your hands up. And if Rourke has to throw around those hands, then the accuracy of that throw may be off a little bit, and that's where the defensive secondary can maybe take advantage of it. In theory.
Sounds easy.
In theory against 12.
First and 10 on the 49. Throwing here, another completion down inside the 35. He goes back to Rhymes again for the third time in this football game.
So again, this is a throw right over the middle. So take a look at the D line here. There's one here and one here. Interior, and then AC Leonard and P. Robinson off the edge. Go ahead and run it, guys, and watch. No hands. No hands up. There's one late. Very late from Lanier.
Out to Lucky Whitehead. Takes it inside the 30, looking for some room on the far side of the field. It'll be forced out around the 25-yard line. His second catch of the game as well.
The downside for defensive linemen when you do that, you get your hands up, is you can get a shot right to the chest, right to the midsection. That's what the offensive line.
That's the price you got to pay, though, right?
But it's the price you got to pay. Try and block those passing lanes.
Saw Calgary last week basically just rush 3 guys for the majority of that football game, and it worked well early. Whoa. Now a bobble by Rourke. And where is that ball? Bounced ahead. And it looks like his offensive line may have saved him here. And it is, in fact, Godber's on top of it, but let's try to figure out what happened in there.
Yeah, Peter Godber is the center, and oh, he never ever got it. It looked like it just rolled forward or something. Let's a better look at it just to the left of your screen here. Yeah, it just rolled into the ankle. Godber made the mistake. Godber
With
got
help
the ball.
from the command center, we have an illegal snap. So procedure on BC. Be a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be a second down.
So that's an interesting eye. Yeah,
you can't move the ball. You can't move the ball prior to just getting it back to your quarterback. So you know, even if that is moved just slightly, you see it sometimes when they rock and they move the ball just a few inches. That will be a legal procedure as well. So that one called legal procedure. That's the right call made by the official. It puts them in second and long.
They had Pipkin out there anyway on the third down. They were ready to push ahead. Now they'll get Rourke back out, 2nd and 7. Another crack at it here. He's got 133 yards passing already, 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Now they're going to get some pressure. Steps up in the pocket, stays on his feet. Now he's going to take off. Here goes Rourke down inside the 20, down to the 10 with a slide. Flag at the end of the play behind the ball game. And the BC Lions moving the ball well here late in the first half.
Working together over there with Dominic Grimes. He's up on the line of scrimmage. Little inside slant ball put right on him. Immediately, almost impossible to cover.
12-yard pickup, working against Amari Henderson.
Best you can do there is make the tackle.
1st and 10 from the Rider 33. 3 receivers, wide side right for Rourke. Looks over the middle, steps up. Almost a no-look pass to Rhymes. And he is able to hang on to it. Looked like he was going to come out to Butler. He had me fooled.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you see great point guards in the NBA do this where they're looking off when they do those blind passes. He looks out there to Butler and then wham, right across the middle. DB's looking at those indicators, got thrown off there.
8-yard pickup. Second and 2. Creeping inside the Rider 25. Empty backfield for Rourke. This one is caught. Zipped it in there quickly, wow. And Lucky Whitehead held on. There's a lot of juice on that pass.
You know, Nick Marshall has had a couple of chances, and this is another massive chance for number 3, Nick Marshall, who wants to get closer and get that 4th. There's the hands up we talked about earlier. It was tipped. If it's not tipped, it might go straight to Nick Marshall, who closed downhill on that. But there's the hands up we talked about earlier.
3rd trip to the red zone for the Lions. One was an interception, the other a Pipkin touchdown. Rourke, quick fake. Now goes over the middle to Burnham, coming back to the ball. And it looked like he was able to hang on to it just outside of the 10, which will be a 2nd and short for the Lions.
Well, so far tonight, I think this is one of Nathan Rourke's games where he's really got to earn it. I mean, the coverage has been pretty good, and there's been some interceptions and also real tight coverages where he's fitting it into close windows and small windows. And that time, Brian Burnham's going to be just short. But you're right. If he doesn't come back for the football there, it's probably tipped.
Pipkin handling the short yardage situations tonight for the first time for the BC Lions. And looks like
time count violation. BC number 17. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Rick Campbell had run all the way down to the 15-yard line. I think to try and call a timeout.
The official had signaled timeout. We're going to go to break, and Rick Campbell hates that. We'll be back.
Suddenly appear when you're near, just like us. They long to be close to.
But he sure can't sing.
Well, I'm just wondering if they're injuring an animal in there or something.
Pipkin now. They gave BC the timeout as we get back to play. Now Pipkin's going to take it himself, looking on the far side of the field. Wide! He'll get it down inside the 5.
Yeah, so all that happened there just before the break was that Rick Campbell had tried to call a timeout and was actually awarded the timeout, but the other official didn't notice, went to the 3-minute warning, shouldn't have gone to the 3-minute warning, went back and gave the timeout before it to Rick Campbell so that he didn't get the procedure call, or the delay of game call, I should say. And so they were still in 3rd and short, and there's Pipkin around the edge to get the 1st down.
And Pipkin remains in the game here, 1st and goal from the Rider 2. Makes the toss, straight ahead, extra push, and he's in. 2nd touchdown of the game for Antonio Pipkin. And the BC Lions take a 10-point lead.
And talk about pay the price. Antonio Pipkin's going to pay the price to get that 6 points on the board. Watch the hit he takes just before he goes in here. Little fake out there to Butler, and then bam, right in the hole from Sankey. He rolls off that one and crosses the strike.
It was Chung who finished him off, kind of pushed him in, because Sankey knocked him over, and then his offensive lineman knocked him in, and he is vulturing touchdowns in fantasy from Nathan Rourke tonight. I don't many of you watching are just like, no! Nobody had Pipkin in their starting fantasy lineup, but he finishes off a 7-play, 70-yard drive. An answer from the BC Lions after the Riders had to settle for a field goal. Sean White knocks the extra point through. And new wrinkle into this BC Lions offense with Pipkin getting involved.
Yeah, Sankey makes the hit, but he's a little late. See, watch how the fake pulls Sankey just past the hole this way, the fake to Butler. The fake to Butler is going to pull 53 just a little bit over there. Now he's got to put the brakes on and come back in there, and that gives just enough time for this hit. It's a little off. He rolls back inside, Pipkin, and can get across the stripe. Because Sankey really wants to hit that hole inside out, and he probably holds him short. But that little bit of a fake pulls him outside, and he loses that angle.
And a nice job by Pipkin to secure that ball and be ready for the contact, right? He saw it coming, took a heavy blow, held on to it, and finished the job.
Yeah, you don't feel it after 6. When you cross the goal line, you don't feel those hits.
Alford, far side of the field, finds a little bit of room, turns on the Jets, and a nice return from Mario Alford. And decent field position with 2:24 on the clock for Cody Fajardo and the Riders.
Hey, if the Riders can put together an offensive drive, and there's plenty of time. You know the Canadian Football League, there's plenty of time inside of the 3 minutes of the half in the game. And that play, mark that one. A big return to give Fajardo some real good field position.
There's Fajardo's numbers so far tonight. Not a lot of pushing the ball downfield by this offense just yet. Morrill will slide back in next to his quarterback, stands to his left. Pressure coming. Wow. They tried to dump it off to Morrill, setting up a screen, and it falls incomplete.
It was Matthew Betts off the edge that beat his guy clean. I want to say it was Andrew Lauderdale right here, and it was an inside move that, look at this, step outside, inside move, and it was a clear path to Fajardo, just causing all kinds of problems. Got to anchor that inside leg at left tackle.
2nd and 10 for Fajardo. Morrill back in next to his quarterback again. Fajardo in trouble again. Stays alive for now. He's in trouble, and they take him down. Eventually circles back around into the waiting arms of Boom Guachum. 3rd sack of the season.
Feel Mosaic getting a little restless with their offense, I think, right now, and maybe the lack of protection. But it looked like he had, if he plants him, well, not really. Not really.
Looked like he just went to plant, and all of a sudden Guachum was there.
Yep.
His kick will bounce all the way down. Taken by Shane Wynn. Wynn trying to find some space. Works it back up just outside the 20 before he is taken down after a 62-yard kick from Vedvik. And now you've given the ball back to that man with 1 minute and 58 seconds to work. Ask the Calgary Stampeders how that worked out for them last week.
You can see he's looks like he's signaling to hurry up, take full advantage of it.
195 yards, 15 of 21 so far in this game for Rourke. No passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Can the Riders defense make a play late in the 2nd quarter? Rourke all the way down the field. Lucky Whitehead, he's got him in midfield, and he's gone to the 40, 30, 20, all the way home. 90 yards for Lucky Whitehead. Could not be caught, and the BC Lions blow this thing open late.
Just like that. Wow. I mean, this was a bust in the secondary for the Riders to have Lucky Whitehead this wide open behind everybody. Nick Marshall was over on that side, and Nathan Rourke just could not believe his eyes, I don't believe, to see Lucky Whitehead that wide open. You give him the ball in stride like that, no one is catching 7.
See you later.
all night long. You give anybody that much of a head start, they're probably not going to be caught. But you get it to Lucky Whitehead, and there's no chance. His third touchdown of the year. And Sean White knocks it through, and the BC Lions,
you know,
on top.
I've talked about Nick Marshall. I like how he sometimes will take those chances and cut under plays. We've seen him almost get 2, but watch what he does here. Nick Marshall, this is the downside of Nick Marshall, because he'll do it. Stop it there, guys. He does it, and then look, still looking back at the quarterback, thinking it's an out route, and he's going to jump it for a pick, and Lucky Whitehead is gone behind him. Now, Roland Milligan looked like he was in the outside deep third trying to help out on that, and he got influenced up as well. It looked like almost he and Nick Marshall together just jumped an under route, but that is just Nick Marshall, good and bad. We've seen him jump a couple of those intermediate to short routes and almost have interceptions twice now. And then he gets locked into the quarterback one time, and his receiver goes right by him.
They'll kick it away from Alford here. Heavy return back up the field by Hickson as he lowers the boom on Kevin Francis, who was waiting for it.
Yeah. Creel. Coach Mike.
Mason Fine into the game late in the second quarter. Is this just for a drive here and then you go back to Fajardo, or?
Well, we'll see, but you could feel that the crowd was getting a little restless watching the offense sputter.
We'll see if it's any different with Fine in a quarterback. Gets this one away and has a completion, and the crowd cheers. Gets about half of what they need there as Cody Fajardo watches on.
Yeah, and sometimes that's exactly what it is. It's give your starter a chance to watch from the sideline for a series. Regroup at halftime. Take a look at the tablet, the good and the bad, and then we'll see what happens in the second half.
What if Fine leads them on a touchdown drive here? Different story, right? They're going to bring some pressure. Fine escapes the pocket. Now he's out on the run. There's a flag on the play as he cuts it back inside the 40. That's where he'll slide. This is a hold. Play came out just as he kind of took off.
Illegal contact. BC number 14. Ooh. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
So a big pickup for Mason Fine on the ground.
Illegal contact. The run was longer than the penalty, so Craig Dickinson takes the play. Nice move inside to cut right there on Luamba.
Fine looks down the field, and that one, nice play by Bro. Would have come down out of bounds on it. They were looking for Tevin Jones, and the deep balls that we've seen, that one and the one to Williams earlier, receivers haven't had much of a crack at it so far for the Riders.
No, I mean, there has been a couple of attempts by the Riders in this first half to push the ball down the field. I know the fans are hoping to see more of that, but you also don't want to be thrown into double coverage either.
2nd and 10 now for the 25-year-old Mason Fine coming into the game in place of Cody Fajardo. Lions showing pressure, and they're going to bring the house. He's going to look down the field. Duke Williams goes up and gets it. Staying on his feet, trying to get home, but DJ Lee held on for dear life.
Well, this is a nice read by Jason Fine, because it was pressure. Mason Fine, I should say, because it was pressure. Here's Duke Williams on the go route, but it was full pressure on Mason Fine, and he reads that pressure, knows he's got the one-on-one, and throws it to the back shoulder of his receiver. 37-yard gain.
All the way down to the BC 4. Pressure coming in on Fine. Gets it away, and that is held on to by McKinnon. His first CFL touchdown is a big one for the Riders as he holds in a pass from Mason Fine, and Saskatchewan has life.
We've just seen two majors inside of 3 minutes of the half. because this is, well, we'll say it, the best the offense has looked tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Big completion to Williams. And now it finished. They had to settle for a field goal earlier from right in tight. Fine finishes it off, and that touchdown a long time coming for the 6th overall pick in 2019, but he's got one. Lothar. Extra point. A little tight, but he does knock it home, and we've got an 11-point ball game with 40 seconds remaining in the first half.
Love you, baby. Love you, mama.
Nice little head fake here on the first touchdown. It's this little head fake outside, and then bam, right across the middle. Justin McKinnis down. Watch this. Oh, nice step to the right foot and the head inside. Sales didn't bite completely on it. Was in pretty good position, but he just lost that battle for the football right there. And the simultaneous catch goes to the offense.
The problem is Sales is 5'9", McKinnis is 6'5", so he had a little bit of an advantage size-wise there.
Well, you asked the question, what if Mason Fine drives for a touchdown here? What happens then?
I ask the big questions, Glenn. That's what I do. Do you have an answer?
Well, yeah, my answer is you go and you start Mason Fine in the second half.
Yeah. I don't know how you couldn't. After he just moved the ball 5 plays, 61 yards. Had the carry for 14, and then the big completion to Williams for 37. Shane Wynn takes this inside his 10, back to the 20. Stays on his feet. And a flag right at the tail end of it as he did lunge outside the 30. 33 seconds on the play. Interesting first half for Roy.
During the return, holding, BC number 91. 10-yard penalty, first down.
285 yards passing, 90 of it coming on the big play to Lucky Whitehead, but a couple of interceptions as well.
Well, that's what's been remarkable about this 24-year-old is just that he's not phased when things don't go well. This 24-year-old is just that he's not phased when things don't go well. He's automatically thinking about the very next series, and you know, you cannot defensively fall asleep on him at all. Not with any of those weapons and receivers or at any time in the game, whether he's got the lead or he's playing from behind. Just incredible maturity for a 24-year-old in what, start number 10, I believe it is? Start number 11.
I am by no means a D coordinator, and I will not play one on TV, but you're going to want to cover Lucky Whitehead with 33 seconds left in this half. They'll hand it off, and a short push ahead into the arms of James Butler, and the BC Lions might be happy with 21 points.
Right, here. Take the lead. You're on the road, hostile territory. You got 11-point lead. And then we go to the band. The band's getting together. I'm not sure we can. I know a couple vocal coaches. Just, you know, just a thought. It's just a thought. I mean, but there's no Simon Cowells in these bands.
This will be one of those things that happens once. Got it away just in time. Butler moves it ahead just outside the 15. So interesting if you're the Riders. Like, you like getting that touchdown late. You got a couple of interceptions of Rourke. Overall, you think not bad, but you're still down 11 here heading into the half.
Yeah, I mean, you go in and regroup. There's lots of football to be played here in the second half, and I think if you're Saskatchewan, you've grabbed some momentum. Mason Fine got the ball in the end zone.
Something to build on for sure. The BC Lions coming into this game, having won 4 in a row, looking to make it 5 in a row. They are also 5-0 when they lead at halftime. Riders needing a comeback at home. Let's send it back to Kate in the panel. Welcome back to Regina, everyone, where the Riders trail 21-10 at the start of the third quarter. Head coach Craig Dickinson is with Sarah Orlesky.
Craig, which quarterback will you go in this third quarter?
We're going to go Mason. Yeah, Mason looked fine. Cody, you know, he did the best he can, but he ain't quite right. So we're going to go with Mason the rest of the game.
So when you're looking, Cody, you said he's not quite right. Is this injury related, or was this
I think a little bit of both. I don't think he trusts his knee right now, and we're going to go with Mason, and hopefully he gives us a spark.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Quarterback change official. Fine came in and led a touchdown drive. Went 3 of 4 for 47 yards and a touchdown after Cody Fajardo was 8 of 13 for 41 and 2 interceptions. Huge opportunity here for Mason Fine.
It really is, and you know, I can tell just listening to the crowd that maybe they heard the interview, because they heard that Mason's going to start the second half, play the rest of the game, and that has given the fans a spark.
As we know, everybody loves the backup quarterback. Here's Alford picking his way through. Nice return. Takes it almost all the way up to the 50. And here's a look at some of the work from Mason Fine at the end of the first half.
Yeah, came in for that last drive of the first half for the Riders, and he went to work. You know, even nice completion over the middle to get things started, and then he ran as well on a play. This was the deep ball to Duke in the back shoulder. TJ Lee prevented the touchdown there, but Justin McInnes with his first CFL touchdown on the crossing route. So successful drive, and he'll start the second half.
Riders looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak at home. Fine at the helm. Big hits on a pass that he gunned in there to Hardy, but Rugamba was there to blow it up at the point of contact.
Well, the timing there, just outstanding. Again, Emmanuel Rugamba getting a chance to play that linebacker, that tweener spot for Lucius Purifoy, who has an interception tonight but is playing free safety. Big hit.
2nd and 10 now for the Riders, who start this half on their own 49-yard line. 6 coming. Fine escapes the pressure, rolling out to his left. Now he's just going to have to take off. Nobody there. Gets a short gain on the play, but running for his life here early in the third quarter.
Well, I'm sure that the Lions were also looking to see what Craig Dickinson would decide as far as his quarterback goes, and then they'll determine what they're going to do defensively based on who's in there. And right now with Mason Fine in there, expect to see more pressure. That was just 6-man, but expect to see lots of pressure to see if he can handle it.
Some whistles before they can get this kick away. Ball was a little bit too far ahead on the 3rd down marker, so it'll back him up a couple of yards. Hedvig will let it fly. Shane Wynn waiting for it. Went to school in Indiana. It's the only Hoosier ever to have a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a kick return touchdown, and a punt return touchdown. High kick from Hedvig. Wynn takes it at his own 10. 48-yard kick. Breaks one tackle. Now looks to turn it back upfield. Now we'll get something out of what looked like was going to be nothing. And Nathan Rourke's first half up and down, but almost 300 yards.
Yeah, again, a lot like the game against Calgary last week, where he was up and down, a couple of interceptions, but he did have a ton of yards. And if you fall asleep on him, that was drive number 1. Brian Burnham getting down the field. Again, distributing the ball to all of his weapons. Late in that first half, Lucky Whitehead in behind Nick Marshall.
90-yarder for Whitehead puts Rourke at 285 on the night so far as he gets the first crack at it in the second half. 16 of 22. Thought about going down the field. Now he's got a ton of room, and he will lunge ahead for a first down to start the half, or darn close to one.
That's one of his superpowers, is his quickness and his ability to process and make a quick decision. Decision making, one of the most important aspects of quarterback play. You got to make good decisions. He gets outside. Watch how quick. Little fake. He just went to turn the shoulders. If it's there, it's not. I'm running. Split-second decision and a first down.
2 carries on the night for 30 yards. First and 10 from his own 28. Has time. Takes what the defense gives him, drops it off to his running back, James Butler, for a short pickup on first down.
That's a tough one because Larry Dean was out there on Butler. You know, when you got the #2 tackler in the league, and Larry Dean, 54 defensive tackles coming in, and then you got, you know, Sankey playing beside him. Pete
He's
Robertson,
okay too.
Yeah. That plays tough one to beat those two guys.
Can Dean or Sankey or Moncrief make a play here? 2nd and 7 is what the Riders defense currently faces. They're going to bring some pressure on Rourke. He's in trouble. Escapes, and now he's got some room to run. Rourke will take it out towards the 50, stays on his feet, cuts it back inside the 50, stumbles ahead, and down at the 45. And the remarkable Rourke strikes again.
Kid Canada putting on display all of his weapons, all of the things that make him great, and he is great. I mean, this is how he gets out of this. Again, full pressure. The pocket is collapsed, and Garrett Marino can't hang on. A 33-yard gain. Nice cut back there on Mike Edom. Wow.
63 rush yards for Rourke. Butler now wrapped up and held onto by Anthony Lanier.
You know,
that'll be a loss.
You know, we've been asked going into every game that we've done of the Lions, Nathan Rourke and what he's been accomplishing. I mean, here's the running totals for quarterbacks on the year, and he's leading the way there as well. And he's the first quarterback that I've talked about when previewing a game and saying if the Riders want to stay in this game and win, they're going to have to keep Nathan Rourke on their sideline, on the BC Lions sideline. That's long offensive drive. The only other quarterback I've said that about was Doug Flutie.
That's a long time ago. Rourke, this time he goes over the middle, and that falls into Rhymes, who gets up and takes off down to the 15, and eventually will get taken down just shy of the 10 as he got up and kept the play alive.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he was touched down by contact here. He's right here, and that trips receiving alignment to the wide field to Rourke's left. And there's going to be a little change motion coming out of the line of scrimmage, and fits it in there one more time.
Rhymes now at 127 yards on the night.
Precision.
Rourke towards the corner. Burnham, did he hang on? Oh my goodness, spectacular! Burnham with one hand to make the play, hauls it in.
Oh man, this is vintage Brian Burnham. This is the guy that owns the highlight reel. I mean, I think he only used one. Derek Moncrief again in the matchup. Now it's 2-2, by the way, in that matchup. The game inside the game. Watch Burnham go to work. Unreal. Unreal.
Absolutely ridiculous for the man who has a catch in every single game he has ever played in. This one, just 11 yards, but of the remarkable variety.
Well, and Derek Moncrief can't cover him any better. I mean, sometimes that's how it works out. You in perfect position. 2-2 in that matchup.
Burnham has a touchdown in all 3 games since the return. A 6-play, 93-yard drive finished off by Burnham with a little bit of magic at the back of the end zone.
Nothing really fancy on the route from Brian Burnham. Is going to be picked up from depth from Derek Moncrief coming over to take him. You'll see that happen immediately here. Just straight go route. But he makes the extraordinary look routine.
Just an insane catch from Brian Burnham. Now has 4 on the season. Coming off one of the best games of his career last week. Flintoff will let this fly. Alford takes it just inside the 15. Has some room on the far side of the field. Sales is going to try to cut him off. Alford makes that corner. Finally forced forced out of bounds by Purifoy before he could do some serious damage. Plaza of Honor night here in Regina. Ken Miller being honored along with Mike McCullough. And Weston Dressler here tonight as well. And all three of them are standing by with our Sarah Orleski.
Thanks so much, Dustin. The fans loving to see these three down here for it. And I'm going to just quickly, Weston, when you think you had 8 seasons here and you think about the success that you had, what stands out to you most of your time with the Riders?
Just the friendships, the friends I made in that locker room, the teammates, the guys I still talk to this day. Friends I'll have for life, and playing in front of these fans obviously was just a tremendous experience, so a lot of fun.
Mike, for you, you live here full time with your family. What's the reaction of your kids over the fact that you're now in the Plaza of Honor?
At first they were pretty mad because we had to come back from our cottage early by about a week or two, so they're still pretty mad at me, but they're kind of thinking this whole scene is pretty cool. So Dad's cool for about 48 hours, and I go back to being the uncool dad.
Hey, you gotta love it, and congratulations. And Ken, for you to be here, I know you were able to address the team for it. You had 5 points for your 5 years here, but overall, what was your theme when you addressed the Riders?
You know, my theme primarily was to play for the other guy. What can you do for the guy in the locker next to you? That's really what it boils down to, being a good teammate.
Well, thank you very much, the three of you, for the time. Congratulations much on the honor. It's so nice to see the three of you, and we'll send it back upstairs.
Very special night for those three gentlemen.
Yeah, congratulations to all three. Great class inducted into the Plaza of Honor here in Saskatchewan. I mean, Mike McCullough, one of the very first Jake Goddard Award winner.
You know, for his kids, don't think about the time you didn't get to stay at the cottage. Think about the time you had there, right? Well, that's a positive.
You know, and I watch Weston Dressler, and just watching his career and how the effort that he gave every single play and the inspiration he must have been for so many kids that are undersized playing football.
Win on the return, and it's a short one, not really going to go anywhere. Plaza of Honor inducting 3 more on Friday Night Football here in Regina. To Plaza of Honor class.
Tremendous career. Weston Dressler, starter, 50 touchdowns. Of course, the 2013 Grey Cup was part of that when they won it at home. Mike McCullough represents all those special team guys. 113 special teams tackles. Unbelievable. Ken Miller, offensive coordinator in 07 when Ken Dawson was the head coach. They won the championship in Toronto against Winnipeg.
Rourke starts deep in his own territory, and we'll quickly go to Lucky Whitehead, who's just shy of a first down. That's his 5th catch of the game. That'll push him over 115 yards.
Yeah, if you're a receiver with the BC Lions right now, you are enjoying life, aren't you? I mean, you're having some fun knowing that if I run my route, if I'm where I'm supposed to be, the Kid Canada will get me the ball.
Rhymes has obviously done the damage with the touchdowns, but everybody's involved in the offense. There's Pipkin, so slide in and push ahead, needed a yard. I mean, he has moved the ball around extremely well his work this season.
Yeah, and it's impressive, and that's why he's accumulating these kind of numbers, record-setting, record paces. When you look at his 300-yard passing games, already on his way to 400 tonight, just in the 3rd quarter here, and you know the 500-yard mark is ready to fall at any time with this guy.
Certainly within his reach, and on that type of pace again tonight. Whitehead comes back, goes down to get it.
Must have blew him dead, because if he caught it, he's allowed to get up and run.
That was weird. I thought he was going to get up and take off.
But they must have ruled that it was incomplete. Either that or a quick whistle stopped the play.
Set up 2nd and 10 after an apparent bounce off the turf.
Yeah, it had to be incomplete for them to blow it dead here, because he wasn't touched. Yeah, see the pellets fly.
So 2nd and 10 for Rourke. Gets us away just in time. Rhymes reached out for it, got a hand on it, but it does fall incomplete. Jeremy Clark there in coverage for the Riders.
Important for the defense to keep it within striking range. I mean, lots can happen, and that's not to give up on it. Jeremy Clark's had an up and down game tonight, but a big play there, and the timing excellent.
Flintoff set to kick it away. Just in time. Alford takes it at the 30 with a little bit of room. Near side and forced out of bounds by Francis Woods, rather, before he could get to the 40. That song still gets you going, doesn't it? Fires me up. Here's Friday Night Football trivia. Who has the single game record for receiving yards in Friday Night Football history?
Well, based on how we've been doing this all year, it's a Rider or a Lion.
I would think.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be, I guess, but
they're re-kicking this after a penalty to Purifoy. Another big boot from Flintoff. My goodness, he can kick it. 57 yards. Alford on the far side. We'll take it back onto the Lions' side of the field.
Weston Dressler just went into the Plaza of Honor. Weston Dressler played on a bunch of Friday nights.
During the return, holding Saskatchewan number 58. 10-yard penalty. First down.
BC Lions G. Roy Simon was also a Rider at 13. I mean,
yeah, Dressler don't be too much of a coincidence. I mean, that's essentially cheating. That's
you're basically saying we'd be planning too much if that was.
That's making it way too easy. We got to dig a little bit deeper than that, I think. But you can scramble to Google if you want to cheat, or you can just try to come up with the answer yourself, and we'll give it to you.
Google it.
No, no. Even if you're wrong, at least have the excitement of coming up with a guess. Fine. Hands it off, and that's not going anywhere. It was Hickson in the game, and how about that from Rugamba, who started a little bit slow in his first start last week, but it settled in very nicely for this defense.
Yeah, he's coming from depth, and when he comes from depth, the timing is ideal. I mean, that's timing up your blitz from the linebacking core to perfection. I don't like using that word. In fact, I think it's kind of a unicorn word, but
perfection?
Yeah.
You're taking it back?
Almost no such thing.
Are you going to take it back?
Yeah, I'm going to take it back.
Okay.
I'm going to take it back.
Cross off.
Good timing, though. Great timing.
It was well played. Here's Fine. He's got some time. Gets it away just as he's hammered by Schaefer Baker. But Schaefer Baker nowhere to go. Hounds on the ball are the BC Lions defense.
Maybe it was a Canadian receiver. Seeing Schaefer Baker make that catch. Remember, they had the Canadian Air Force.
They did. That's a really good point. If you're going to go through that, there's 4 guys there. That could be pretty obvious. Now, I mean, a random guess
game, right?
in this situation would give you a 25% crack at it. I'd lean that way. Friday Night Football trivia answer coming up.
As long as Dave Naylor and the panel aren't working on that song right now, we'll stick with the recorded version, if that's okay.
Yeah, you know, a lot of us can play an instrument. I play a trombone horribly.
Do you really?
Don't tell anybody.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, I don't. Not anymore, obviously.
Should have known that on rookie night for you.
Big kick, 61 yards, win with a little bit of speed. Turns it back upfield, just outside the 25-yard line for the BC Lions. And that's where they will have the ball when we return. They lead by 18 on Friday night.
When it comes to receiving touchdowns, right now he is on pace to hit the 20 touchdown mark. Now, only 3 players have ever had 20 receiving touchdowns in a season. The last being a name that we might recognize, the one and only Milt Stiegel. Right? But one of the things that impresses the teammates most, whether it be Nathan Rourke or Brian Burnham, talking about the unselfishness of a player like Rhymes. Never asks for the ball, but it certainly makes an impact whenever he has it. In his first 4 years in the league, 7 touchdowns already. He has 9 so far this season. Last year, largely in a blocking role. This year, asking him to make plays to go up for those jump balls. He's obviously been doing it and having success to this point.
Very versatile in this offense. They'll get it out to Lucky Whitehead, who stumbles, bounces back up, but is taken right back down again. Rhymes coming into the season, I think had 7 touchdowns in his career. He's tacked on 9 more this year.
5 touchdowns in his last 4 games for the BC Lions, and they get down into that red zone. They're at a 76% clip, which is outstanding. Red zone offense, and he's been the #1 target inside that 20-yard line.
Second in the league in yards per game at 85.4 is Dominic Grimes. 2nd and 8 for Rourke here. Near side Whitehead, he's got him, and it falls incomplete. Looked like he was leaning out of bounds, trying to keep his feet in, and hands couldn't hang on to that ball. Looked like he was consoled there by Nick Marshall.
Yeah, you know what he was doing? He knew he was 2 yards short, so he was trying to catch it and turn at the exact same time. He's about 2 yards short, so he's catching and turning to get that first down. And just, again, when you do that, you take your eyes off it. Just as it hits your hands, even the best will drop it.
Back to work for Flintoff. Alford waiting. Had to back it up after a 63-yard kick. And he is taken down heavily there by Hakeem Johnson. You've been waiting for the answer to Friday Night Football. Did you get it correct? There he is.
I see Canadian Air Force.
You had a chance.
Andy Fantus.
What a game.
How about that number? 10 catches, 255 yards, and a touchdown.
Against the Calgary Stampeders. Few weapons on that team.
Rob Bagg, Claremont, Andy Fantus, Getzlaff.
Far side. He's got it in there. Duke Williams comes back, goes and gets it. And they'll get about half of what they need on first down.
Got a good Canadian out here right now, too, in Schaefer Baker, and I really believe that he needs to see the football a little bit more. I mean,
2 catches tonight.
2 catches tonight. His targets have gone down over the last couple of games. The first 7 games, his targets were at about 7 per game, and in the last 2, it's been cut in half, basically to 4. So I think he's a playmaker. Get the ball in his hands, you get a chance.
Especially with some of the other weapons they are missing right now. Fine's going to look down the field, and a big completion on the far side to Justin McInnes. McInnes will take it down to the 30. It's going to be a race inside the 20, and he's hauled down by Purifoy. But the biggest play of the game for the Riders comes from Justin McInnes, who had his first career touchdown earlier tonight.
You know, when you get that first touchdown, it feels like a weight off your shoulder as a receiver, and now you play with great confidence. You run a great route on the out. The timing is there. Nice throw from Mason Fine, and then turns the corner. Thought he was going to be tackled immediately. Didn't get tackled. Marcus Sales went down and then picked up some yak yards after the fact.
57 yards for McInnes. 1 for 2 in the red zone tonight are the Riders. Fine, nice angle on that throw, and he'll get it to Tevin Jones for a first down all the way down to the 5.
Well, this time it's McInnes on the... He's basically the decoy on this route. He's going to run the corner, and then right there, it's going to be Jones on the curl. So get the deep route to the corner, try and pull coverage just for a split second, and it did to Jordan Williams. Gave Tevin Jones that split second he needed.
Final play of the 3rd quarter. Riders down by 18. First and goal from the 5. They'll hand it off and nowhere to go for Jamal Morrow, stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And the Riders knocking on the door, but trailing 28-10 on Friday Night Football at Mosaic Stadium in Regina. It's a beautiful, beautiful night. Don't go anywhere. 4th quarter coming up here on TSN. To make for the Riders here as we work our way into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I'm going to call this the Nathan Rourke effect, because at 346 yards passing and what he's capable of, what he's shown us throughout this season, does that change Craig Dickinson? I think in this situation now, they're 2nd and goal on the 5-yard line. If they don't get it here and score the major, conventional wisdom would say take the field goal you climb back into the game with a whole quarter to play, but you're playing against Nathan Rourke. Does that change? I think Craig Dickinson probably plays 3-down football, especially on the 5-yard line now.
Yeah, what's 3 points do for you? Be down 28-13. Lots of time to go still, but is your defense going to be able to hold Rourke and the Lions to just the 28 points on the board right now? Highly unlikely, but they have come up with some turnovers tonight. There's no doubt about that. 2nd and goal from the 5 for Mason Fine. Has 1 passing touchdown already in this game. Morrow was stuffed on 1st down. Fine now throwing towards the end zone. Williams goes up double coverage and it falls incomplete.
Well, now we'll find out. That's double or triple coverage there, and Duke Williams still down.
He went down earlier in the game, but it has returned.
Brought Hardy in for more protection for Mason Fine, and no, it was just double, but Rwanda gets back. Rwamba gets back there to help out in Sales, and I think friendly fire possibly for Sales because he came down kind of favoring his arm too.
Duke is up and back on the sideline. There's a look at it. A little bit of a limp. Try to walk it off.
You know, and again, I mean, you're down this far.
Your answer is going to be questioned. Your Mason Fine's on the field.
Yeah, and people will say, well, you know, you gotta get the field goal this close. But I still think you have a whole quarter to play. You chip away with points, plus that's a positive for your team. You've got some momentum because you drove the ball and you got 3 points out of it. But against Nathan Rourke and his 500-yard pace, I think it changes your strategy.
Huge moment for that man. 25-year-old Mason Fine trying to keep his Riders in this game at home. From the 5. Flushed out of the pocket, taken down, fumbled, and the ball pops out. And the BC Lions defense comes up with a huge play on 3rd down.
Boom, watch him around the edge, and he's going to make himself skinny. And you're saying, well, wait, 6'5", 250. There's no way you can make yourself skinny at 6'5", 250. Watch how he turns sideways here. Chops down with the right hand, turns sideways to make that surface area for a block almost impossible. And he comes around the corner on Josiah St. John and catches Fine from behind. He had an open receiver, too, in Justin McInnes. He saw him and just couldn't load it up.
We saw Cody Fajardo under a lot of pressure in the first half, and Fine gets a dose of it there from the BC Lions. Rourke starts on his own 11. Near side, has a completion. It's Katoy, and he's going to push it all the way outside the 35. His first catch of this ball game is a big one and gives the Lions breathing room.
This is why I'll call it the Nathan Rourke effect, because I think the decision by Craig Dickinson was the right one, to go for it on 3rd down, not take the field goal there, go ahead and try and punch it in for the major, because Rourke will get you out of that hole in about 3 seconds.
375 yards for Rourke, closing in on his 3rd consecutive 400-yard passing game. This time, they'll toss it out to Butler. And Sankey read that well, takes him down with a little help from his friends. And that'll set up a 2nd and long for the visitors. Ten for 16 on 2nd down this evening are the BC Lions. Trying to keep this offense on the field as we work our way through the early stages of quarter number 4. And Rourke this time will be taken down. Welcome back to the lineup. Pete Robertson comes around the edge and gets home.
Kind of a combination between the two of them, Pete Robertson and AC Leonard. And for Leonard, it's going to be a stunt like this, and Robertson, you're right, he comes right around the corner, and those two premier rush ends, you knew they'd make an impact. And there's the stunt at the bottom, and it's a race to get to Rourke.
is hobbling off the field. And here's a huge wrench thrown into the storyline of this game. No weight on the right ankle of Nathan Rourke. And we'll get hopefully another look at it as Rourke in pain on the sidelines. And a phenomenal season from Nathan Rourke has a hiccup in it. Flintoff will kick it away. Alford waiting, takes it at the 15 after a 60-yard kick. Near side, looking for some blocks, opening up some space, and they'll get pushed out of bounds just outside the 35 as they look at the ankle of Nathan Rourke. Robertson, Leonard getting there, and there you see the ankle off on the right foot of Nathan Rourke, and they're continuing to see what exactly happened to him. He was in quite a bit of pain when he came off. Settled down now as they evaluate him. Fine, will dump it off, and a bunch of space here for Jamal Morrow. Cuts it back at midfield, and eventually has taken down one of the bigger plays of the game for the Riders offense. 18 yards to one of their best playmakers, Jamal Morrow.
Yeah, they had some success early in the first quarter with the run game, getting Morrow involved, and this is nice blocking up front. A little swing pass, really an extended run to swing it out like that, get him out in a little more space.
Now a deep shot, far side of the field, incomplete. Was looking for Tevin Jones and a major, but it falls incomplete out of the hands of Mason Fine.
Boy, that throw was about as good as it could be. And Tevin Jones got to it. He put it into fifth gear and he got to it. He was in behind coverage, in behind Delvin Breaux, but just off his fingertips.
So 2nd and 10. Fine is 9 of 13 for 148 yards and a touchdown since coming in late in the second quarter. Goes to McInnes. McInnes turns, tries to cut it up, lunges ahead. Where he places that ball is darn close to a first down. A great second effort from McInnes.
I'm taking a look at Nathan Rourke's ankle right now. I know there's a lot of BC fans wondering, and they're pointing to where it's bothering him. It looked like a clean sack. It was a clean hit. Just kind of the way he twisted to the ground that caused the issue. But he didn't put any weight on it going off, so. Michael O'Connor would be next up. They're cutting the tape off, as a matter of fact, so that means he is done for tonight.
Won't be back. First half of a home and home. They'll play again next weekend. Fine. In trouble. Gets away just in time. And will throw it at the feet of Tevin Jones to avoid the sack. Here's another look at what caused Rourke to be in this pain on the sideline.
Well, he's broken so many of these tackles, and he's Leonard hit him, and Pete Robertson, again, clean tackle, just pulling him to the ground, but it's the way that right foot twisted underneath him. Don't want to speculate on exactly what it might be, but you saw him looking at the ankle, and it's like his night is done.
2nd and 10 for Fine. Needs a first down here. Throws one in, and he's got a first down. And a coming out party tonight. Yeah, for Justin McInnes. I think we can safely say that, over 80 yards with a touchdown, and has caught every ball thrown his way.
Yeah, that touchdown's given him great confidence, and he knew where the marker was. He knew where he had to get to. He catches it and backs right up into that first down area. It's good awareness where he was on the field.
Working from the BC 27. Has a short completion to Hardy, and really all he could do on the play was pick up a short gain and set up second and long with just under 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Mason Fine has faced second and long a ton. I mean, that getting limited playing time coming in. He was just 8 completions on the season coming into this game in the end of the first half. And he's faced a lot of second and long.
8th play of this drive for the Riders. Fine looks to the right, goes over the middle, and has a completion. That'll set up 3rd and a couple as he goes back to 83, Jake Hardy.
You know, you get a young quarterback and get him in second and medium and second and manageable is so important. Jason Moss had success with the run game. He's had success with the run game all year long. In fact, when they run, they win. When they run the ball well, they have balance. I understand what the scoreboard says, but take a look at that, Fawn. When they win games, they're rushing the ball effectively. When they're not, they don't win. And that first down production would really help Mason Fine, I should say.
Only 9 carries for their running backs so far in this game tonight. Huge 3rd down here. Lions got to stop last time around. They'll hand it off to Morrow, pushing ahead. Oh, this is going to be tight. Lions defense may have done it again.
I think Jordan Williams got there to make this close where they're going to have to measure.
They will take a closer look at it. Country and the party in Pill Country has been silenced a little bit so far tonight by this BC Lions defense. Did they make the play again? Yes. The visitors shut the door on 3rd down. Riders come up empty on 3rd down again. Great look at it here. Morrow stopped short by Jordan Williams. Where the Riders have challenged the spot of the ball on this play.
I'll give you all the looks, and this one may help more than any. But Jordan Williams fell the right way, didn't he? Pulled him back. You get forward progress, but you just don't know how. There's enough evidence here to turn.
Either way, it's an extremely close call. Let's get the announcement.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down BC, Saskatchewan is charged a timeout.
At this point in the game, if you're the Riders, you might as well do it when it's that close.
Yeah, you had to. But, you know, just those type of 3rd down, and you can challenge on 3rd down on the spot.
If you're just joining us, you're wondering why is Michael O'Connor in this game? And more on that coming up shortly. An update on Rourke from Sarah Orleski in moments. A completion to Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead will be tracked down on the far side of the field. Let's send it down to Sarah Orleski.
Well, Dustin, as expected, Nathan Rourke is done for the evening. He hasn't left the bench since he came off, unable to put weight on that right foot. Most of the time, though, the emphasis when they were examining him was on the middle and the top of that right foot, and that is where the ice bag is currently taped up to. That is the only information that we have been provided up to this point by the BC Lions.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Excellent job down there. Investigative reporting. Interesting that it's down on the foot, not a high ankle.
Foot and ankle,
like that,
foot and ankle.
Ice on it immediately. Connor dumps it off. And his running back will come up just shy. It was close, but just shy of a first down. So an opportunity here for O'Connor to seal away a victory for the BC Lions. He's got a few reps along the way.
I think they're going to change their mind and kick this away.
It would be a little silly to go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Third down there. But O'Connor overall, he's got 6 minutes to lock up a victory for the Lions. Alford waits. Obviously, he's a player with a special ability. Can change this game in a heartbeat. Takes it at the 25 after a 58-yard kick. And great job by the Lions so far tonight. There's really been nowhere to go for number 2 in green. As the Riders trailing by 18 will have the ball when we return. I like my horses to have a risque name.
I like the way you said it.
Mason Fine with 5.5 to go, down by 18. In coverage, that ball is knocked away by Hladek. Looking for Hickson, trying to get Hickson involved in the offense once again.
Craig Dickinson now, I mean, you go into a week where you're preparing for the same opponent. You know, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind, just knowing Coach Dickinson and listening to him throughout the year here in Saskatchewan. He'll go back to Cody.
Completion on the far side to McInnes, tosses off one defender, lunges ahead out to midfield. There's a flag back at the 15. Whether this comes back or not, a great night for McInnes continues.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer. BC number 90. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Take a look. He goes up the field and then runs the stunt, goes right down Main Street, 3 or 4 strides, and then a hit well after the ball is gone.
23 more yards for McInnes, puts him up to 111. His first 100-yard game, so a night of firsts for McInnes. Oh, and a big hit there as the completion is made, and Manny Rugamba continues to make an impact on a BC Lions defense where I think it would be hard to make an impact with all the talent around you.
Yeah, especially that back end, secondary, and the veterans, and the linebacking core with Jordan Williams in there. Bo Lacombo is the injury list right now.
Rugamba playing in the spot of Purifoy, moved back to safety. Fine, near side, and that one will fall incomplete on 2nd and 6. Was looking for McInnes again.
But it's 3-down football for Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, you know, our Edmonton game, there were 17 points scored in 45 seconds.
You guys had a wild one there.
Yeah, 17 points in 45 seconds before the half.
4 very, very tight football games last week. All 4 of them decided in the final 3 minutes.
Starts with a conversion here on 3rd down.
Low snap, bobbles it, goes down, gets back up,
No shot
and it's
there.
finished off by the BC Lions. It's Josh Woods' first career CFL sack on the play.
Yeah, that's, you know, 3rd down and 6. Everybody's got to be wired, ready to go, and a bad snap that goes wide from Logan Bandy, and that just ends the chance of Mason Fine getting that done.
So you did say you don't think there's any chance Dickinson doesn't go back to Cody Fajardo?
No, I just
maybe a shorter leash, because Fine's done a decent job.
He's done a decent job, but I think you go back to your starter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's times when your number 1 pitcher doesn't have his stuff. You go back to him right afterwards.
You also need to do a better job protecting both of these guys.
Yes, exactly. Now that injury angle for Craig Dickinson may factor into this. Is if he's not confident in planning and running and all those things, then that may factor into the decision.
And if you're just joining us, that is what Dickinson said at halftime, that he thought Cody just looked a little bit off, maybe not a lot of confidence in his own knee.
But quarterback talk in Saskatchewan. There will also be quarterback talk, obviously, in BC, and these 2 teams play again next week.
Yeah, there's a chance, and you're right, very likely Fajardo, but there's a chance you can see 2 different quarterbacks start the game next week that we saw this week, with Rourke having his foot iced down as we speak.
Yeah, unfortunate is part of it, and you know, you talk to Cody, he's been playing on that knee, and Guys like Zach Collaros and pretty much every player in the game is going to have to play through those injuries at some point.
O'Connor out to his right on the run. A nice throw to Katoy. And they'll take that out over midfield. And O'Connor is 3 of 3 since coming in to this football game as the BC Lions look to seal one away on the road in Regina. They lead 28-10. Friday Night Football doubleheader with their 8th victory of the season. Would go to 8-1, just a couple points back of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Sets up some great storylines in the second half of this CFL season. 2.5 minutes in this one. They'll hand it off. And a nice push here from Butler. A flag about partway through that push ahead. And it's going to come back on a hold.
Michael O'Connor may get his opportunity.
Holding. BC number 51. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
UBC product. Talking to his coaches back then in those days, that he was one of those guys that rarely ever made the same mistake twice, would learn from them and move on. You know that he has been in that quarterback room with Nathan Rourke for the entire season and looking at how he processes defenses.
Couple of other stops along the way for O'Connor before landing here with the BC Lions. 1st and 20 is what he faces now. And he gets it to Lucky Whitehead. Another flag on the far side of the field this time, as Lucky Whitehead hauls in his team leading 8th catch of the game. Would be 7 yards. And now some pushing and shoving near midfield. Both teams separate quickly.
Offside, BC. That penalty is declined. Major foul, crackback block, BC. 15-yard penalty applied after the play. It'll be 2nd down.
That's why you saw a few words being dished out that we can't repeat on the broadcast. And I'll back them up inside the 40 here. Dominique Grimes, the guilty party there. See if he can come up with a big play here. 35 yards is what they need. Tough stretch starting for the Riders. BC and then BC and then followed back-to-backs against the Blue Bombers. O'Connor quickly once again gets it away to Lucky Whitehead. Went low and was tackled immediately by Edom.
To limit the damage a little bit, punt it away.
Rhymes, who was flagged earlier, once again back in the face of the Riders. Sankey was giving him an earful as well. Eventually somebody pulled Rhymes out of the pile. I think it was his head coach. Well, we talked a lot about discipline with the team in green so far this year, and Lions getting involved in it a little bit here as well. Pete Robertson, Kevin Francis, still jawing at each other.
Well, this is the penalty here that started it all. There's Dominic Grimes up there.
After the play, we have a 10-yard misconduct penalty on Saskatchewan. It'll still be 3rd down.
That's illegal now. That crackback block can't be outside the tackle box and come back in and blindside a player. That was, I believe, Darnell Sankey.
If you're Rhymes, you're having a pretty good season. Probably just try to let that all slide away right now. Flintoff will kick it away. Low kick. Bounces in. Alford hustles over, scoops it up, and takes it out of bounds. Just inside his own 15-yard line with 2 minutes and 9 seconds on the clock. And now more flags on the play. So we talked about what's coming up here for the Riders. They get BC again on August 26th, and then, of course, the Labor Day home and home with the Bombers. On the other side for the BC Lions.
After the play, misconduct penalty, BC number 40, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
With the Rourke injury looming here, they get the Riders again on the 26th. And then after that, it'll be Montreal, and then a home and home with Calgary in September, which should be really good. Having done that last game, which was just absolutely insane between the Lions and the Stampeders. Very much looking forward to those two in mid-September. Still 2 minutes and 9 seconds here. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail. And a completion to Tevin Jones. Jones is one of these guys who's had some opportunity with the injured receivers out so far. What have you thought of Jones?
Yeah, I mean, he had that one shot at a real deep throws. Take a look at Rourke there with, again, right on the top of his foot, but the ice. But you know, I think he's young. He's finding his way. They do get, as I mentioned off the top, they get Shaq Evans back very quickly. That's a Saskatchewan good news, and Kyron Moore as well. They just got their 2 rush ends back in the lineup after injury. Speaking of injuries, and Pete Robertson and AC Leonard have made a difference tonight. You know, they didn't get the win, but they're a better defense clearly with them in it.
3rd and 4, they'll stay on the field again. A few turnovers on downs. On 3rd down already in this quarter. And that's going to be batted down by the 5'9" Marcus Sales coming up over the top of the line. If I had to pick one guy to bat down a pass at the line tonight, I probably wouldn't have had 14 on the list.
Hey, the little guys can make plays. Weston Dressler went into the Plaza of Honor.
Yes, he did tonight. Special night for him.
Just to the left of your screen, inspirational. You can be 5'9" and 165 or 70 pounds and still be an impact player.
Interception
in football, absolutely. So if you're a little guy playing minor football, don't worry about it. It's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog that matters.
O'Connor back in, 1:52 left. Working from the Rider 34. They'll just hand it off to Butler right up the middle. Take it down to about the 30.
Yeah, I mean, this is disappointing, obviously, but it's
timeout.
You know,
Saskatchewan.
All of the the pace and the record-breaking pace that he's been on in the 300+ yard passing games, the last 2 over 400, and just Kid Canada has just been putting on such a great show. You can see the disappointment, and we'll see. I mean, he's going to have to go get X-rayed and all those things in the next 48 hours. We'll know more about the health of Nathan Rourke, and whatever it is, it won't keep him down forever. We'll see him again back on the field.
Prior to the injury tonight, Rourke was 22 of 31 for 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a couple of interceptions along the way. Early again, and then settling in nicely and leading his BC Lions to what's going to be a victory here on the road, and their 5th in a row overall. See the ice once again on the top of the foot for Rourke. Just shy of 3,400 yards at 33.81, 9 games in.
Half a season. Amazing.
They'll hand it off on 3rd down to Butler. Give the ball back to the Riders with 80 seconds on the clock. You know, as the Riders offense comes back out here, we talked about it a little bit already. We talked about the receivers that, you know, they haven't had recently. The one guy they have had is Schaefer Baker, and we talked about him a little bit earlier on. But just 2 targets tonight for 2 catches. And at the beginning of the season, even when you thought they might be healthy, you're thinking Schaefer Baker's going to be heavily involved in this offense. And somehow, some way, for some reason, he just hasn't been lately.
No, and you know, he was used on those fly sweeps, or the fly sweep motion where he'd come across the formation and then shoot to the flat, and they'd give it to him in space. And he was doing such a nice job of running with the ball after he caught those little short passes. But yeah, it just hasn't been targeted. I'm not sure if it's not that he's the primary or it's just the quarterback is going away from him.
Here's an interception at the 45 by Ben Hladek. And Hladek with an athletic play to hurdle over a Rider. 7th turnover of this ball game. And Hladek takes it back down inside the 30. So Mason Fine, who had not thrown an interception since coming into the game, tosses one here. Puts him at 210 yards, a touchdown, and now an interception.
Yeah, and the game is out of reach here, but you know, this again goes to that decision for next week. And again, I don't think there's any question that Craig Dickinson would go back to Cody Fajardo. That's his starter. That's his franchise player here. And Mason Fine showed some things tonight, but still very young, and they're going into BC Place to face the Lions in the rematch next week.
Second interception of the season for Hladek, who's done a nice job stepping in when Lecombo went down with an injury. Hand off to Butler.
That'll be an illegal substitution penalty on the Riders. They had a DB come in late. I believe it was Amari Henderson.
There's no flag on the play.
Oh, well, good. They picked it up. At this point, they can let them play.
Instead of picking them up, let's just tuck them away.
Let's just tuck them away.
Let's just tuck them away.
Let them run this one
anyway. 60 seconds left in this ball game as the clock ticks down. The BC Lions have come in here and ruined the party tonight for the Riders fans. Butler wrapped up before he can get back to the line of scrimmage with 43 seconds on the clock. O'Connor's thrown the ball 5 times, completed all 5 of them for 36 yards. Huge night once again, for the most of it with Rourke at quarterback. Now he stands iced up on the sideline. Whitehead 9 catches, 136 yards tonight. Rhymes 127, so a couple more 100-yard receiving games. And then on the other side, Justin McInnes arriving to the scene. I think a guy that Riders fans have been excited about for a while.
Yeah, great game for him.
Tonight,
yeah, real good game for him. You know, you think about the games tomorrow night, and I know that everyone to this point has been talking like it's going to be an automatic crossover this year from the west to the east. Saskatchewan stays now at 5 wins. Montreal and Hamilton, one of those teams are going to win. They go to 4 wins.
Yep.
You know, I mean, yeah, the Lions and the Bombers are atop the West, sort of separated from the rest of the pack, but, you know, I'm not sure that crossover is a guarantee. It's still probable, but it's not a guarantee by a long shot. In tomorrow night's games, one of those 2 teams is going to win and go to 4 wins. Be one. And remember, if you cross over, you have to flat out beat in the standings the Eastern team. You can't cross over and tie that team.
Got to be ahead of them.
Got to be ahead of them.
BC is going to win this game 28-10, the final, but a big loss that we will wait anxiously to see what the news is for Nathan Rourke.
Yeah,
that's the storyline coming out of tonight.
Yeah, we'll be assessing the injury over the next 48 hours. I'm sure there'll be x-rays and medical reports, and we'll find out how long we might be without Kid Canada.
Nathan Rourke, remarkable once again prior to the injury. 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, a couple of interceptions, but took his team to a 28-10 lead, and the BC Lions, with Rourke iced up on the sidelines, still run their way to victory. 28-10 your final. The BC Lions go to 8-1 on the season. The Riders fall to 5-5. That'll do it for us. Let's send it to SportsCenter.